everybody. Welcome back to Nostalgia Rewind. I'm Kris.
And I'm West.
And today we're watching A Night at the Roxbury.
Roxbury.
Yeah, so A Night at the Roxbury came out in 1998. It is about two dim-witted brothers dream of owning their own dance club, or at least getting into the coolest and most exclusive club in town, the Roxbury. And it stars Will Ferrell, Chris Kattan, Vivica Paulin, Raquel Gardner, Paulette Braxton, Jennifer Coolidge, Michael Clark Duncan. I didn't remember him being in this. Some other people. Molly Shannon. Some other people.
And the list goes on.
Yeah.
All right. So for me, I never seen this movie. I only know this movie by the memes, which is like the heads. No, I know this movie by the SNL skit that's a parody of this movie, where it's like Jim Carrey shaking their heads, right?
This was originally a Saturday Night Live thing that turned into a movie.
But wasn't Jim Carrey in the car doing the head thing? Or is that not the meme?
Maybe? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so I only know of this movie through memes.
Is it really? Do you only know it through memes because, or,
Yeah.
No, but you don't know this back from like when we were younger and like people in school would do the thing?
No.
No, but you didn't know anybody that did that?
No. I saw what. Yeah, I guess I didn't hang out with people who saw it or talked about it.
It's just you saying memes is so bizarre because memes are more of a recent thing. So did you not learn about this movie until like last year? Like what?
Okay, so it's not like till last year. Maybe it's not memes. Maybe it was the skit, right? And that skit is what I saw like as funny. The skit of that scene in this movie.
Okay.
I'm assuming that in this movie they dance in the car.
Yeah. That's the whole thing. They bang their heads to the side and they break the window.
See, I didn't know that part.
Oh, yeah.
I just know that they shake their heads, and it's funny because they're doing it at the same time.
Yeah.
So I say memes because I've seen it more often in memes and jokes and GIFs.
Okay.
I should say not memes. I should say GIFs.
GIFs. That makes more sense.
GIFs, animated GIFs of this movie when people do the head bob. I always thought it was an SNL skit, not part of a movie for a long time until...
Well, originally.
Yeah. So, and then I didn't know that a movie was made or anything. I can't tell you anything that happens in this movie, not one bit. I don't know anything about this movie at all. I don't know what the jokes are, if it's even funny, if it's gonna hold up. This will be good for us. You know, you saw it, I haven't. And obviously, you just read the cast. Jim Carrey's not in this movie, so I think
I don't know where you thought that.
I might be totally wrong on this. But yeah, Night at the Roxbury.
Maybe there was him on. Maybe they did a redo of the skit or something, and Jim Carrey is there.
But that's the SNL.
That's that this movie is based off.
So the original had Jim Carrey in it. I only know the SNL skit, and by the skit, I don't even know the skit. I just know that they're bobbing their heads. It's a silent GIF.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that's all I know about this movie, and it's funny because people like it. That's what I know about this movie.
Let's see. What do I remember?
Yeah, what are the major jokes and through lines and plot lines?
I just remember them constantly getting kicked out of the club because they're not cool.
So there's three guys trying.
No, it's two.
So a couple of dudes who think that they're cool, dressing pseudo suave to try and to get into the coolest club.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point.
Yes.
Of this movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, their whole thing is that they love dancing and partying and clubbing, but they're just not cool enough to get in.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that the comedy really comes from the main characters, right? Like Will Ferrell's character.
Yeah, Will Ferrell and Chris Kattan.
Yeah, that's funny, Chris Kattan. I only know him because he recently did Family Feud live at work.
I was actually wondering what he's been up to.
Yeah,
that checks out.
So he was a host for a live version of Family Feud that went through different cities. And when I saw him, I'm like, he's old. And not like old, but like, you know, I'm like, when you look at him, you're like, you're obviously from a time, like people know your name, but you haven't been in anything recent. Like, what has Chris Kattan done? Oh, and Chris Kattan, I think, was referenced in, like, Family Guy once. And I only knew and understood the joke because I know that he did this Family Feud live thing.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
He was in Corky Romano. He plays Corky Romano.
Yeah, I know.
No? He was in Undercover Brother.
Nope.
Um.
Voltron.
Yeah. Okay.
Bill Nye saves the world.
Who's in Sharknado 5?
Oh man, he can only make it for 5. They're like scraping the bottom of the barrel. Yeah, so to me, Chris Kattan's not really anybody. Like, he is somebody, obviously, from a time that he was, very popular with comedy, in comedy movies. He was probably,
I mean, back when he was on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And he was funny then. He was a comedian.
Yeah. I guess what I mean, like, Will Ferrell, like, transcended and continued.
Yeah, he didn't last as long as other people. I don't know half of these movies.
And neither does he.
So I honestly don't remember a whole lot of this movie. Of course, the scene that you know of when they're banging their heads. And then them just trying to get in clubs and constantly getting kicked out. And
so that's the whole movie. So for 90 minutes, we're going to watch them get in and out of a club.
We'll keep continually trying to get into clubs.
But do you remember any, like, solid jokes from the movie?
No, I don't. It's
like a solid bit?
I probably haven't seen this since 1998, so...
12 years. Wait, 22 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So 22 years ago.
Yeah. I remember it being really funny, but of course that could have been... Maybe it's not that funny. Then this is just child me who's like, it's funny.
I mean, that's what this podcast is for.
Yeah.
Just to figure it out. We're not afraid to dig deep in here.
I'm afraid that Chris Kattan's voice is going to be really annoying.
But that's the bit. You think it's like a bit that maybe is old or doesn't age well?
Well, he always exaggerates his voice, and like in Quirky Romano, he's doing a bit there. And I don't remember if he's doing a bit here where he's accentuating his voice more and being more annoying, or if he just naturally has an annoying voice.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't remember, but part of me is a little afraid that it's going to be annoying.
Well, we got a whole 90 minutes to enjoy it since he's one of the main characters.
Yeah.
So I think this movie's going to not hold up, and I don't know anything about this movie. But that's just me.
You don't think it's going to be entertaining?
I think it'll be entertaining, but as for holding up as like a classic or something, I would say probably not.
Like, we're probably going to watch this today, and then you're never going to have the desire to watch Night at the Roxbury again.
Yes, I'll watch Waterboy any day of the year. But this, I'm like, I also watched Waterboy when it came out. So, I'm being biased. This is really on you. You got to tell me if it holds up, because right now I just see it as like an old SNL bit, like your grandpa's like, back in the day.
It's not that old.
This is what I used to laugh at.
It's not that old. This would have been our parents would have been like
22 years ago.
Hey, Jesus, please stop.
Our cat is destroying our furniture.
In classic cat fashion.
Yes.
I think we should just jump into this one because, like you said, you haven't seen it. I clearly don't remember.
Yeah, you can't even tell me
substantial.
anything. You told me in 90 minutes, all they're going to do is try and get in a club.
Yeah, they're shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
They dance
Nondescript
poorly.
Shenanigans.
They try to be slick. They're not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they get kissed at some point because
90s romance.
And some other generic things. So yeah, I think we should just watch this one. This is kind of like both of us going in blind.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be stupid, and I'm probably not going to, like you said, not going to want to watch it again. But I think this is going to be a fine time.
Yes. All right, here we go then.
Let's do it.
Cue music. All right, Night at the Roxbury. Roxbury, not ROCK. How I always imagine it. Doesn't matter. Just finished it, and it was...
dumb.
I mean, it was dumb, but you know what's funny? I guess I had such low expectations that I thought it was going to be worse.
Oh.
I thought it was going to be very, very dated. It's just dated.
I still think it's dated enough though. Like there's a whole thing where Will Ferrell is trying to explain to his dad what Chris Kattan is like, and he's comparing him to a fax machine. I barely used a fax machine, so
I mean, it is an old joke because I guess common people don't use fax machines, but we have a fax machine at work.
I mean, yeah, if you're doing corporate stuff, but if there was kids today that I was like, hey, watch Night at the Roxbury, they'd be like, I didn't understand that fax joke. What is that?
So the whole movie is them trying to get into the Roxbury, of course, but the whole thing is that they're trying to meet Mr. Sadir so they can pitch their idea for a club, and the club is basically the inside will look like the outside and the outside will look like the inside. So when they're waiting in line and people are dancing outside, it looks like the inside of a club, and then they have like a street and cars on the inside with street signs, which is like not too bad of an idea, I guess, for like what they were doing.
I think it was actually a pretty smart idea.
It's
dumb enough that people would be like, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, there was obviously, I think what really drives this movie is the characters. I really felt like I needed to know these characters beforehand before I even watched this movie. Not that the jokes didn't land, it was still dumb humor and stuff, but it's definitely like, oh, you know, like previously known on this SNL skit, and now you're watching a movie of it.
Yeah.
You know, they did that head bob at least 4 or 5 times throughout the movie, which I guess is like the whole joke.
It is, yeah. Yo, the soundtrack was great.
Yeah, purely what, 90s music?
Yeah, just 90s dance music, which is
Whoa,
the best.
whoa.
It was great.
Yeah, Will Ferrell did great. Watching this movie, you know what it feels like? It feels like the alpha or beta versions of these type of movies. Like, it was like the beginnings of, or maybe other movies have just done this way better. I don't know how to explain, but the type of comedy, the jokes that they're hitting, maybe it feels a little unpolished. Could have been more polished. Chris Kattan was fine. He wasn't as annoying as I thought.
No, he was annoying.
You thought he was annoying?
Yes.
100%?
100%.
Since the beginning.
He has a punchable face.
Yeah, the face is punchable. He's really
And-
short too.
He's not even that short.
5'8".
That's not that short. You're like 5'8", right?
I'm 5'9".
Oh, excuse me. 1
Excuse.
whole inch taller than Chris Kattan.
An inch matters. All right, never mind. It's fine. He's appropriate height. But he has the face of an old man.
He just has a very, very like punchable. Like I look at him and I'm like, you're a aren't you? You're just a.
Yeah, he does.
Apple.
Richard Grieco was in it from 22 Jump Street, and that was a whole joke.
The joke is just that he is who he is.
He is who he is, and he exists in this movie.
I don't know. There's really not like the movie's dumb.
There's no substance. There was a lot. You know what's funny? There was so much boobs and butt shots. Like a lot of the jokes were like zooming up on boobs and looking at butts.
Yeah.
And everybody in the dance club has big old boobies. And yeah, I probably could have hit puberty watching this movie. Also, 80s swimwear, you know, very
90s.
baggy. Oh, it's 90s, yes. 90s swimwear, very baggy, high-waisted. It's an interesting time. Time.
Honestly, their characters are the worst. They're just constantly hitting on women and like bombarding them.
Yeah, he's, hey, what's up? What's up?
And it's.
You from here?
I guess it's funny.
Are you from here? Exactly. It's sexist. It's not sexist. It's like, it's crude humor, but on top of the crude humor, it's at the expense. The funny part is that they're obnoxious to women.
Yeah, and it's not funny. It's just annoying. Like I look at them and I'm like, no, I just stop.
They're just trying to get laid. And then when they were gonna get laid, they didn't know how. And that was the whole thing. Because the girls are gold diggers. Or rich diggers. That's terrible.
What a gold digger is. It's the same thing.
Yeah, but I guess they weren't trying to marry these people. They just wanted to have sex with rich men.
I think maybe if they found a guy that was rich enough, they'd probably try and marry him.
Okay. And then the girl next door, I guess, they own, or their dad owns a fake plant shop. And then the girl next door is part of a lamp shop. And it's a whole joke. Molly Shannon. And that's a whole joke to get them to get together so they can make a plant and lamp shop.
Which is dumb. The movie's just dumb.
I mean, you get the dumb humor. A lamp, the first plant and lamp shop. I guess it is.
Yeah,
I guess it is
it.
a dumb
I get
humor.
it, but honestly, like you said, like watching this now, I don't need to ever watch it again.
Never again. And then there was another running joke that was interesting. So the rich guy, Mr. Sadir, who owns the Roxbury Club, he just always says like, "Hey, did you grab my ass?" And like that's like the whole joke. Like he'll just say it to somebody across the room, "Hey, did you grab my ass?" It's almost to me equivalent to like pull my finger as like an old man.
It kind of is, yeah.
And you know the joke kind of grew on me, but
The joke was kind of funny.
Hey, did you just grab my ass? And I don't know why it's funny. I can't even explain it. I can't even say it's like dumb. It's like beyond dumb. It's just like a silly. It's like hot dogs being inherently funny. Like I guess asking if somebody grabbed your ass in a non like club scene is funny.
I think the reason it's funny is just because how sincerely funny he thinks it is.
Yes.
Like, he just legitimately thinks it's the funniest thing that he can come up with. And I don't know, just seeing him smile as he's asking is just hilarious. For some reason. I don't know.
It must be, the comedic punchline, delivery, the whole package is there. And the joke doesn't really even have to be that funny.
Yeah.
Seeing Will Ferrell young, doing his thing. Like I said, unpolished. He still has time before he really refines his humor. He was somewhat funny, though.
Yeah, no, honestly, the movie...
So would you say the movie holds up to today's 2020 standards?
No, I don't think this movie is worth the watch now.
Not recommended.
It's fine. It's not terrible, but it's also not hilarious.
Pure nostalgia.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you're a Will Ferrell fan and you want to see his earlier stuff that if you haven't seen it, then sure, watch it, I guess. But no.
There's plenty of better Will Ferrell to watch.
Yeah. There's probably even better Chris Kattan
and he didn't do much after this.
Yeah. So it's just not funny. As funny as it could be.
Yeah.
Like, we watched Booksmart last night, and that
was a good movie.
That's funny.
Watch Booksmart, guys.
But this isn't. Their humor is stupid. There's a lot of outdated jokes because we're not using beepers or fax machines anymore.
Actually, I thought that beeper thing was funny solely because they were using beepers. It wasn't even the joke.
It's just that beepers existed.
Yeah. And she had like a nice like translucent blue one, and I was like, that looks fun.
I remember those. Yeah, they were cool. But I mean, yeah, other than like, it's not.
Oh, when they dance, they like just dance really ridiculously.
Yeah, totally not on pace with the music.
And that is a joke. Yeah. They're crazy.
Yeah. The styles of everything they wear is ugly. The 90s wasn't cool.
I mean, I think they're cool. It was cool. I think their style is a cranked up version of what the 90s style was, right? Like having
that person existed.
Having a satin shirt with a satin tie and the satin pants and the satin shoes.
That person existed.
I mean, they existed in the same way that like the crazy.
No, you were too young. You weren't going to clubs.
I mean, you're right.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like parts of the movie that I really enjoyed, and there wasn't really.
I think you're using the word "really" is not good. How about just enjoyed? What part of the movie did you enjoy?
The soundtrack.
Okay, that's something.
I would listen to this soundtrack again before watching the movie again.
I enjoyed all the boobs and butt shots.
Okay.
This movie was made for 13-year-old me.
Oh, I did like the fact that they were running around in Speedos. I thought that was funny.
That's true. Yeah. It's a male joke.
Yeah.
Or a female, whatever.
American guys.
It's very
don't wear Speedos.
European.
Yeah.
Ooh. Wow, this is a hard one to talk about, huh?
It's not funny. It's stupid.
I think it's beyond not funny. It doesn't have anything to talk about.
It does, yeah, like it's
the whole premise is them trying to talk to Mr. Sadir. And then they do whippets or something.
They do whippets.
Crickets. Cute crickets. We'll start putting sound effects in this.
Oh, are you going to start editing? That's what I thought. Yeah, it had a couple of chuckles. The did you grab my ass joke really was the highlight.
It was.
As far as jokes
surprisingly.
go. Yeah. But really it was like the third time around when he finally says it that you're like, this is funny. It's
because he got a phone call.
Yeah.
And the phone call was like, hey, somebody's on the line. He says, did you grab his ass?
Yeah. But besides that, like their characters are annoying. They're always hitting on women, and I guess you feel bad for them because they're stupid, but like it's just gross and annoying, and I think about it in real life, and I'm like, just
it's true.
Go away.
And then the girl that Chris Kattan ends up with is the girl that he always calls to check credit cards.
Yeah, that whole thing's weird too.
Dated. It's because it's dated too. Like nobody calls for the credit card to be checked. The machine kind of just tells you and checks for you already.
Yeah, I remember working in retail and having to call.
Yeah.
And it was the worst.
Not a thing anymore. I think you just use the internet now.
That would make sense.
Yeah. And then she ends up at the club at the end that's his, and then they get together and dance, and then Will Ferrell's character, whatever his name is, ends up with
the cop.
A cop
who is best friends with the credit vixen.
The credit vixen. And
cops. They're just the female versions of them, apparently.
Yeah, so there's no arc or story. They end up being the same people, right?
Yeah, nobody grew or changed.
Nobody grew or changed. But
They just got a club.
They just got a club. But like, I mean, what are we expecting from a comedy movie?
I wasn't expecting change. I wasn't expecting them to grow. I was expecting comedy.
Oh, burn, burn, Will Ferrell.
And it was funny in 1998. It's not funny now.
It's 1998 funny.
Yeah, it's not 2020 funny. Ugh.
Yeah, 1998 was 22 years ago.
Yeah, so you can tell. I'm not watching. It's not like in 1998 I was watching, I don't know, movies that were in black and white that were comedies and expecting them to be hilarious.
That's true. That's true. Actually, we need to think about later hilarious movies. What is a hilarious movie 22 years ago?
Big Daddy.
You think that's a hilarious movie?
I do think Big Daddy was hilarious.
We're gonna rewatch Big Daddy, Adam Sandler.
We've mentioned Big Daddy now like 4 times.
Okay, we're gonna watch it because you immediately said Big Daddy for a 22-year-old comedy. We'll see how hilarious that is. Like,
Waterboy was still really funny.
It was. Thank you, Adam Sandler.
Just Adam Sandler movies from 20 years ago. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, this movie just hasn't aged gracefully. It's very much a product of its time, and it's just not.
Doesn't hold up.
Yeah. I don't even know if I really would want to put this on in the background. Like, I don't even want to listen to them.
It's not even a background.
Mainly because I don't want to listen to Chris Kattan.
I don't think he was that terrible.
I just don't like him.
Yeah, I get it.
There's something about him that rubs me the wrong way. I'm like, get out of here, Chris Kattan.
Right.
Yeah. So trivia.
All right. Let's squeeze the trivia out of this movie.
Jim Carrey contributed to the script but was uncredited. I wonder if that was a choice. Did he not want to be credited?
Right.
Because I would not want to be credited.
I'm sure it's a money issue. Like, they'd have to give him a certain amount of money or something.
The dance routine that Doug and Steve perform with Camby and Vivica at their first night at the Roxbury is the same as the one Vinny and Barney and 2 ladies perform in the club scene in My Blue Heaven.
Wow, throwback that we didn't even know.
Yeah, didn't see that movie. According to Chris Kattan, after completing the film, Will Ferrell did not speak to him again until the 23rd season of Saturday Night Live due to an on-set relationship between Kattan and producer Amy Heckerling having upset Ferrell. Kattan alleged that Ferrell had said, quote, "So I got all your messages, but I didn't call you back because I didn't want to talk to you," end quote.
So he doesn't like Chris Kattan?
Well, I guess they're fine now, but from what I can gather is that Chris Kattan started dating a producer and Will Ferrell
didn't like that. That's weird.
Maybe Will Ferrell also liked her.
Wow, just like the movie.
I don't know. Or maybe they had already dated, and you don't date your bro's ex.
Yeah, the bro code that everyone follows.
Yeah, girls do that too. You're not supposed to date your
I know, but like in movies, they always talk about the bro code and the girl code and the whole
and they
premise.
Instantly break it.
Yeah, it's like the prime directive in Star Trek. It's like, oh, you never do it. It's like, well, this is the conflict of the movie now.
This road, this rule is always written to be broken. A 2008 Super Bowl Pepsi commercial was a takeoff on this movie. What Is Love was playing in the background. At first, everyone was falling asleep. After drinking Pepsi, they started bobbing their heads to What Is Love, like Steve and Doug in the movie. At the end of the commercial, Chris Kattan came out of a store and saw 2 people bobbing their heads, and he yelled, "Stop it."
That's kind of funny.
It's cute. And that was the last thing Chris Kattan did before he did the traveling Family Feud thing. I'm just kidding.
The traveling Family Feud sounds like it's like a circus. Like he joined a circus and he's like, the traveling Family Feud. We got elephants.
Eva Mendes's first cinematic appearance. Eva Mendes.
Yeah, Eva Mendes. Her first cinematic appearance, and it was a close-up, very big close-up of her boobs.
Yeah.
Women.
That's what got her the job.
Poor women. Sorry.
Cameron Diaz in The Mask. That's what got her the job.
All right.
Eva Mendes plays the maid of honor in the wedding scene where Steve, Will Ferrell, is about to be married. Ferrell and Mendes played a married couple in The Other Guys. That was a terrible movie. Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
That was a really bad movie. Will Ferrell married co-star Vivica Paulin in 2000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. As of 2018, this is the only film that the two have appeared in together.
So, that's too funny. I'm gonna start calling you Viv and start.
No, not
leaving
her.
out. No.
No, that was the character's name. Was Vivica that girl?
Yeah.
This is the actress's name.
It's no longer a fun fact for me.
Yeah.
I thought he started dating Vivica from the movie. Okay.
In one scene, Camel Butabi, Dan Hidea, I don't know. Maybe that's the dad. I don't know. And friends are listening to Emily, Molly Shannon, play the piano. She was playing the song Where Everybody Knows Your Name, the theme song from Cheers. Hidayah played Nick Tortelli on the show from 1984 to 1987.
Okay.
Where everybody knows your name. Amy Heckerling directed some scenes. She's uncredited. After Doug and Steve are dumped as they are driving on the highway, the song in the background was originally the somber No Surprises by Radiohead. This cut of the film was presented at the test screening in the Westbury, New York, about 6 months prior to the film's release.
Kind of fun.
I don't yeah.
They're
okay.
like, oh, the first cut had this song in it. Is what
Not
they're saying.
anymore, though. Okay. The CD that can be seen in the CD player above Doug's bed when Steve tries to wake him up is the album Pop by U2.
Okay.
That doesn't seem like an album they would have.
I don't know what U2 sounds like.
You don't know Bono?
I don't know what Bono sounds like.
Okay, well, it's not the music of the movie.
Okay.
Lonnie Anderson's final cinematic appearance as of September 2018.
Destroyed her career.
Or him.
Wait, what's the name?
Lonnie.
Destroyed their career.
Michael Clark Duncan and Will Ferrell would later appear in Talladega Nights. Great movie. Classic.
Great movie. That's a good one.
Will Ferrell, Molly Shannon, and Mark McKinney appeared in Superstar.
We should watch that one.
We should
see
watch
if that one holds up.
I think that one will still be funny. Emily throws out Steve's possessions after they started dating, not after they got engaged. Will Ferrell and Dan Hedaya appeared in Dick.
These are some old fun facts. Right. Mild facts.
Doug and Steve tried to give the bouncer $8.25 as a bribe at the Roxbury.
Yeah, I was counting it too.
Were you?
Yeah. My friend Washington and his other friend Washington.
Yeah. And that's all the facts. That's all the trivia.
Yeah, there's not much to this movie, guys. Don't watch it. Don't even remember it. Don't even reference it. Don't use the GIFs. Skip it.
No, the GIF's still funny.
Yeah.
The whole
the head bob thing. Yeah.
And
this movie is basically if they got a meme or a GIF and they stretched it out to a 90-minute movie. Like, there's not much it could have. I mean, but nowadays, they stretched out like Angry Birds into like a 90-minute movie, and Angry Birds was an alright movie, guys.
It was alright.
It's not an emoji movie. It's not that bad, but it's not great. I mean, it's not like a Pixar movie or anything.
But it was fine.
I
didn't hate it.
They added a whole story to a game where you fling birds, so I can't really say that there's not much to work from because they could have done something.
They could have done something, yeah.
But we also don't know. What we should start maybe looking into is like the box, like how much money it made compared to how much it cost to make. Please hold.
Alright, so the budget was $17 million. And opening weekend, it made $9 million.
$9 million. It cost 17, and overall, it made $30 million.
$30 million. So
I guess it's they doubled their money. It wasn't a terrible investment for them, depending on the type of rich person you're speaking to.
Yeah, but if this is what this movie made today, people would have been like, all right, well, that's it for Night at the Roxbury. We're never making another one of these.
We only doubled our money.
Yeah, so.
I don't know what else to say.
It's not a good movie.
We give this one a B+ out of 17.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. It's just not good, guys. Okay.
It very much is. The world doesn't need it.
It doesn't need it.
We could have just had the SNL skit, and we all should have been content with that. We didn't need an hour and a half movie. So.
All right. Well, that's Night at the Roxbury. A Night at the Roxbury. Chris Kattan, Will Ferrell.
Dancing it up.
This is the Saw one. I'm Wes. This is Chris. We'll see you next time.
See you next week.
Woo! Cue music.
Bye.